What if the signal isn't weak, just knocking at the wrong door? What if stillness isn't peace, but a habit the body picked up to get through hard days? There's a place at the base of the spine that rarely gets a vote, even though it sets the rhythm for everything above it. Lately, there's a familiar fog, focus slips, breath climbs into the chest, and thoughts loop the same tracks. It feels like the mind is failing, but maybe the mind isn't the issue. Maybe the foundation is idle, and the structure is compensating. When the base is ignored, the shoulders tighten, the jaw clenches, and the inner voice grows sharp. The body asks for rhythm, and the mind offers more language. The sacral region carries weight literally, as the keystone between spine and legs, and quietly, as a storehouse where unmet motions rest. Call it memory, pattern, or inertia. When the hips stop moving, attention narrows and choices shrink. Many traditions began at the base, not because it was glamorous, but because stability is the doorway to any ascent. Breath deepens when the pelvis finds its arc. Presence follows breath. Choices follow presence. Modern observation, even without spiritual labels, points to a simple bridge. Slow, rhythmic motion with steady breathing can nudge the nervous system towards safety. Steady heart rhythms and softer reactivity. The body listens to pacing and pressure more than it listens to arguments. A gentle tilt at the hips can be enough to remind the spine how to wave and the breath how to descend. When the base meets gravity with rhythm, the rest of the system starts to organize around ease. Notice what happens when attention drops from forehead to belly. Words thin out. Sensing takes over. This isn't a rejection of thought. It's an invitation to let thought ride on rhythm. The pelvis speaks in curves, not paragraphs. That is, its wisdom. Curves disperse static. Static is what turns one doubt into a whole identity. This is why the smallest movement at the base can feel like air returning to a room that was always too tight. What keeps it frozen? Long hours of sitting, stress that never gets named, shame that doesn't want to be seen. Also, a love of complexity, wanting a big answer when a small practice would do. There's safety in theory. Moving the base is different. It's honest. It lets whatever is stored at the ground come up for air. This is tenderness, not drama. If emotion arrives, it's not a failure. It's the body remembering its job. Try speaking internally, in short phrases that follow motion. Here, down, soften, breathe. Let the words be stepping stones across a river, not a bridge that tries to conquer it. The point isn't performance. The point is a felt click. The base acknowledges gravity. The breath widens. The eyes soften. The jaw lightens. This is a practical kind of mystery, ordinary and repeatable. Start where the floor meets the feet, barefoot if possible. Knees unlocked. Hips level. Let the head be the last to care. The aim isn't to look graceful. The aim is to let the pelvis regain its curves and remind the spine that it's a wave, not a stick. Keep the breath honest, in through the nose, down into the low belly, out slow enough for the exhale to feel like a glide. Think ocean, not metronome. Practice 1, the sideways infinity. Stand with feet under hips, knees soft. Draw a gentle sideways figure 8 with the pelvis. Small at first, then a little wider, then small again. Keep the shoulders quiet and the jaw unclenched. If thoughts jump in, give them a job, count 4 loops. Pause for a breath, count 4 more. 2 minutes is enough. The point isn't doing it right. The point is to feel the corners that forgot how to move and greet them without force. At first, the lower back might try to take over. Let the knees help. The movement is a whole body conversation, not a lower back solo. The breath should sink on its own once the pattern settles. If the chest is still high, slow down until the belly answers. The moment the breath drops, the mind feels less crowded. This isn't magic. It's simple mechanics meeting nervous system courtesy. Practice 2, the vertical wave. Tilt the pelvis forward a few degrees, then back to neutral, then a hair behind neutral. Imagine stacking and unstacking the spine one vertebrae at a time, even if the visible motion is tiny. Inhale as the pelvis tips forward, exhale as it returns and rolls behind neutral. Keep it soft, as if talking with gravity instead of arguing. Aim for 3 slow cycles of 10 breaths. Quality over range. Subtlety over display. Go gently. No pain, no proving. If anything pinches, cut the range by half and slow down. If standing isn't the day's option, sit at the edge of a chair, feet planted, and make the same motion smaller. If lying down is better, bend the knees, feet on the floor, and tilt the pelvis with the breath. There's always a version that respects the day the body is having. Respect is what makes change stick. Why does rhythm help so much? Rhythm is primitive permission. It's how the body decides a space is livable. Frantic tempos keep the upper body in charge. Steady tempos let the lower body participate. When participation returns, attention widens. With a wider field, reactivity fades without force. This is how a small motion at the foundation becomes a change in perspective without any argument at all. If sadness surfaces, let it be wind through tall grass. If anger appears, let the feet get heavier until the heat disperses into the ground. Feeling is not a verdict, it's a visitor. The hips move, the breath moves, the visitor leaves on its own schedule. No need to fix, explain, or rename. Just keep the curve alive. Practice 3. The quiet spiral. Lie on the back, knees bent, feet flat. One hand on the low belly, one hand over the heart. With eyes closed, trace a very small spiral inside the pelvic bowl, using attention alone. No visible motion required. Let the breath be slow enough that the hands rise and fall out of sync like 2 waves meeting. 3 minutes. If the mind wanders, bring it back to the inner spiral and the feeling of weight in the pelvis. Reset in real time. Between tasks, take 30 seconds to soften the knees and let the pelvis draw a single slow figure 8. 1 loop for what was, 1 loop for what is, then stand still for 1 breath to mark the shift. This tiny reset reduces carryover from one moment to the next. Life becomes a series of fresh rooms, not a single hallway under fluorescent lights. What changes when the base moves? Language gets kinder. Decisions feel less like cliffs. The face relaxes without effort. There's a sense that attention no longer lives 2 inches behind the eyes, but across the whole body. People talk about intuition as a voice. Often, it's a direction of ease. Motion at the base makes that direction visible. A small commitment, 5 minutes a day, for 7 days, 2 minutes of sideways figure 8s, 2 minutes of vertical waves, 1 minute of quiet spiral. Keep it humble. Keep it daily. Track nothing except the first breath after you stop. If that first breath lands low and wide, the trail is good. If not, go slower tomorrow. Progress is measured in softness. There's a doorway under the last rib that most people never visit on purpose. Visit it. Let the base have a say. Let the spine remember its wave. Let the breath remember its weight. This is how energy becomes direction instead of noise. This is how thought becomes a lantern instead of a siren. Today's practical path. Choose a song with a steady, unhurried beat. Stand barefoot, knees soft. 2 minutes of figure 8s. 2 minutes of vertical waves. 1 minute of quiet spiral on the floor. End with 1 slow exhale through pursed lips, like fogging a mirror. Then drink a glass of water. That's it. Small, honest, repeatable. The base doesn't ask for drama, only presence. Give it 5 quiet minutes and watch how the rest of the day arranges itself with less effort. The body remembers. Let it show the way. Reflective question tonight. Will 5 quiet minutes at the base be given a chance to change the room? What if clarity isn't found by thinking harder, but by moving simpler. What if the fastest way to hear an inner truth is to stop arguing with it and give it a rhythm to ride? The body speaks first in motion, then in meaning. When the bass moves, the message finally lands. The hidden loop. There's a loop many people live in without noticing. Tension makes stillness. Stillness collects more tension, and the mind tries to solve what only movement can discharge. Thoughts multiply to help, but they become an echo chamber. The exit is not higher volume, it's a lower frequency. A few honest gestures can change the chemistry of a moment. Not dramatic gestures, small ones. Steady, repeated, and kind. Why the bass sets the tone. The pelvis is a transmitter. It distributes force from the ground through the spine, and it invites the breath to expand downward where ease begins. When that transmitter goes offline, the upper body takes over like a temporary manager who never meant to run the store. Neck tightens, eyes narrow. Every decision feels like a test. Bring the transmitter back online, and the upper body can return to its real role, direction, not defense. Mind, breath, motion in that order, or not? Sometimes, breath calms the mind. Other times, the mind is too loud and breath can't get in. Motion often goes first when neither thought nor breath will cooperate. Gentle movement makes space for breath. Breath makes space for better thought. The order doesn't matter as much as the agreement. They work together. If one won't listen, start with the one that will. The body's honest timeline. Change likes rhythm more than force. Muscles adapt to patterns faster than they adapt to philosophies. The hips do not care if a breakthrough happens today. They care if 5 minutes happen today. This is freedom. No need to win the day. Only meet it with a pattern the nervous system trusts. Practice 4. Breath-led pulsation. Sit or lie down comfortably. Place both hands low, just above the pubic bone. Inhale through the nose and let the lower belly widen gently into the hands. On the exhale, add a subtle lift of the pelvic floor, light enough to feel like a quiet nod upward, not a clench. Let the chest stay soft and the jaw loose. Think of the exhale as a slow tide drawing back, carrying static with it. 3 slow minutes. If attention wanders, return to the feeling of the hands and the slight rise and fall under them. What to notice after a minute? The breath may lengthen on its own. The exhale might get longer without effort. The shoulders might drop a notch, and the skin of the face may feel less tight. These are good signs. If strain appears, make the motion smaller. Subtlety is strength here. Practice 5. Ground gait reset. Stand tall with feet hip-width apart. Soften the knees. Lift one heel and let the opposite hip melt forward a centimeter. Switch sides like a very slow walk in place. No rush. Find the point where the pelvis swivels without the ribs hitching. After 20 slow switches, take one step forward and pause. Let the step finish. Then, another step. Walk a short hallway like this. Slow, smooth, silent. The goal isn't distance. It's a new conversation between feet and hips. 2 minutes is enough to change the tone of a room. When emotion joins, sometimes movement wakes what stillness hid. That's not a mistake. If tears arrive, keep the movement small and steady until the breath settles. If irritation rises, widen the base of the stance and let exhalations be a hair longer. If numbness shows up, add sound to the exhale, a quiet hum to give the nervous system another channel. The body isn't sabotaging progress, it's completing it. The quiet science of gentleness. Gentle, predictable motion paired with longer exhales can tip the nervous system towards safety. Safety changes perception. Perception changes choice. Choice changes life. It's not mystical to say that a calmer body reads a moment differently. The same email, the same face, the same traffic light, all look less threatening when the bass is in rhythm. The world doesn't change, the receiver does. From habit to ritual. A habit is something done on autopilot. A ritual is the same action done with attention. Turn 5 minutes into a ritual by adding 3 anchors the same time, the same place, the same first breath, morning by a window, afternoon beside a doorframe, evening on a mat. The anchors tell the body, we know what happens here. Predictability becomes medicine. A micro-sequence for busy days. If time is tight, use 90 seconds. Stand barefoot. 1 slow figure 8 with the pelvis, 30 seconds. 3 gentle vertical tilts with breath, 30 seconds. 1 guided exhale, sigh through pursed lips for as long as comfortable, then pause 5 seconds before the next inhale, 30 seconds. That's enough to change the next hour. Short doesn't mean shallow, short means focused. Walking into decisions. Before a call, an interview, or an important message, walk 10 steps with the ground gait reset. Let the hip bones guide and the shoulders follow. At step 10, pause and take 1 low inhale, 1 long exhale. Enter the decision from the body, not just the head. It's remarkable how often solutions become simpler when the base is awake. Posture without pretending. There's posture that looks good and posture that feels true. The second kind doesn't require tallness, it requires rootedness. Try this. Stand, soften the knees, float the sternum up a millimeter, and let the pelvis hang like a pendulum. Feel the big toe pads. Let the eyes widen. This is posture that invites breath instead of bracing against it. From here, words come out cleaner and shorter. A story that could be anyone. There was a week when sleep wouldn't land, and every choice felt like a coin toss. Nothing worked more: coffee, less coffee, writing lists, tearing them up. Then 5 minutes changed the weather. 2 minutes of figure eights, 2 minutes of vertical waves, 1 minute of breath-led pulsation. Not dramatic, not perfect, just steady. On day 3, the first sigh came from the lower belly again. On day 5, the face felt like it belonged to the body. The work didn't get easier. The body stopped fighting the work. Troubleshooting. If dizziness shows up, reduce range and keep eyes open. Fix a soft gaze on something stable. If the lower back complains, bend the knees more and imagine the pelvis drawing tiny circles instead of big shapes. If boredom arrives, that's a sign to make the motion smaller and the breath softer until detail appears. Often boredom is just the mind missing its usual noise, taking it into the world. This isn't only for quiet rooms. Waiting in line, shift weight from foot to foot without swaying the shoulders. On a walk, let the hips lead for 10 steps. At a desk, roll to the front of the sight bones and imagine a small inner spiral while typing. The point is not to escape life for practice, but to let practice thread through life. What begins to change? Decisions feel timed by the body instead of rushed by fear. Boundaries become simpler, no long explanations, just a yes or no with breath behind it. There's more patience for other people's stormy weather because the inner weather forecast is clearer. Creativity returns like a bird that wasn't gone, just waiting for a quieter branch. A 7-day arc. Day 1-2. Learn the shapes. Be clumsy on purpose. Keep the breath honest. Day 3-4. Trim the range. Make each motion smaller but clearer. Let the exhale lengthen a little. Day 5-6. Carry it into transitions, doorways, calls, meals. 1 slow figure 8 before each shift. Day 7. Do the full 5 minutes twice, morning and evening. Notice the first thought after you finish. See if it's kinder. If one day slips, return without apology. Rhythm forgives quickly. A note on strength. Strength supports freedom. Add gentle support work twice a week. Bridges with a soft belly, side-lying leg lifts with easy breath, and long holds in a low squat with heels supported if needed. Keep the jaw loose. Strength that lets the pelvis move is different from strength that locks it down. Choose the first kind. when stillness is right. There are days when the truest move is to lie down and feel the floor. Even then, the base can participate. Place a cushion under the knees, one hand low, one hand high. Let the inhale widen the lower hand. Let the exhale lengthen past the belly button. No goals. Sometimes the deepest practice is letting the body be held and letting nothing happen until something softens on its own. A call to apply. Choose a cue in daily life, the kettle, a calendar alert, the elevator door. Pair it with 1 minute of base movement. Figure 8 if standing. Pelvic tilt if seated. Inner spiral if lying down. Repeat for a week. Let the cue become the doorway back to the ground. The world will keep asking for speed. Give it rhythm instead.